Frédéric Harper. Call me Fred. Same thing. Actually, English is not my first language, so if you have any question in French, soyez bien à l'aise. Québécois problème, tu parles français de loin mieux que ami. So this morning I'm going to do this in Franglish because most of the speakers are Anglophone, and you're going to be stuck with my lovely and beautiful and really seductive accent. So I'm a senior technical evangelist at Immunio, basically doing the same thing as Remy, but just a little bit better. Actually, we are in the web security space, so offering a product for web developer and giving you real-time security and detection about any threats within your application. But I'm not there to talk about Immunio. I'm not there to talk about security. I'm there to talk about responsive web design. So feel free during the conference if you want to tweet, use #Harper for the good thing, the bad thing, the terrible thing that I'm going to say during my talk. I'm going to put the slides and also the recording online on my blog. I put the link at the end, so no need to take any notes of things in the presentation. You don't see it right now, but for me, it's like they're killing me. I need to stay in front of the mic. I used to walk a lot and move a lot, so I'm gonna try to stay near the mic. So if there's anything you don't hear me, usually I don't need any. Actually, I don't need any mic most of the time. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll try to go to the mic once in a while, but it's just that's gonna kill me being here 45 minutes. And that's probably going to be boring for you. So at least if you don't like my talk, you can just follow me where I'm walking, and that's going to be kind of interactive. So how many of you know responsive web design? And by know, I mean use it and create website with it and really try to create great experience for your users. Awesome. Okay, so awesome in both ways. Some people know, some people use it. Awesome because there's a lot of people that did not raise their hands. So we're going to have a probably fun 45 minutes because at least I hope you're going to learn something. So in a galaxy not so far away, and I look at the crowd, and I'm really older than I thought. But for some of you that are doing web development for a couple of years, you may recognize that little guy. Or your parent does, or you probably see this in history book. But we used to, when we started to create a website, and we were not even talking about web application, we're just only talking about websites. We were basically coding for those guys, mostly, hey, 800 by 600 pixels, and that's going to run on IE and Firefox, and that's done. On Windows, and this is basically what we had to do, what we had to support. I think it was a good time. It was a lot easier to be a web developer during that time, but today there is so many devices, and we're talking not just about different type of smartphones, different type of laptop. We're also talking about different devices, and all devices can access the web today, on my Xbox, on my Apple TV, on my e-reader, on my Kindle. I can go on a website. Is there anyone working at Amazon? Okay, so this is not the best experience ever. This is kind of like a shitty browser, but still, I can access the web. So I want to give my user a great experience. I know people at Amazon. I should not put that talk online. But the fact is that even if you don't have a lot of people using the Kindle to go to your website, and it may not make sense for most of the time, you still want to provide an okay experience at least. So in today's world, we have to adapt. We have to think about all those devices. We need to give a great experience to our users. And this is what we are doing. We're creating website, we're creating web application, of course, it's because we want a paycheck, we want to make a living out of it. But you better have the best feature out there. If people cannot use it, or if they don't have a great experience, you screw. So basically, this is what we have to do. So there is no good presentation without cap pictures. There is no link at all with the demo, it's just because I want to cap my presentation. So you probably all have great experience on the web and sometimes really shitty experience. I hate using that website because I really like those folks. I really like that conference. But the website is really great, quite creative, a lot of color. It's really a great conference. It's happening in Toronto. But the website is not really, doesn't give you a great experience where you're not on the browser. So if I take that website, I have access to a lot of information, Twitter and Facebook and latest news and all the events that they're going to have. But if I try to minimize that windows, and the idea here is not really about, it's really not about like playing with the browser. It's like I'm kind of simulating on the smartphone. And you see now that I need to scroll and scroll up, scroll down, and probably on my smartphone, I'm going to have to zoom in, zoom out. I'm probably going to click on the wrong link, and I'm probably going to be annoyed. In that case, it's not that critical because at the end of the day, if I go there, it's probably because I want to buy a ticket because it's the conference I want to go. But if I'm going to your website to use or to buy one of your products, and I'm not able to do it, or I just don't have a great experience on my smartphone, I'm going to use Google. I'm going to search for your competitor, and I'm going to go buy my stuff on another website. I'm that kind of guy. Like, no, I don't care about your company. I want that product. I want to use it. Give me a great experience. If you don't do it, that's not going to happen. And now I just like play it with my browser, but I can in any browser out there. I have a tool to like simulate different devices, and it's not that better. Like I have the exact same experience. So if you go in your browser in the developer tools, all browsers have this kind of tool. You can simulate either different sizes of screen or just try to use different laptop, your iPhone, and no matter those devices, you're going to be able to see how it's going. It's just like easier to just play with the browser. But you're going to see it's quite interesting once you understand, once you know that you can do this. You're probably going to go on, if you didn't know before, you're probably going to go on all websites starting from now and trying to resize to see how it's going on the website, if the website is giving you a great experience. So great website, great information, but at the end of the day, I didn't get the best experience. Justin Bieber. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. So some people are laughing, other people are like, is it joking or it's real? So I'm not going to answer that question. So this website, tickets, now, we don't use it that much, I think, in Canada, but it's quite popular out there. Like, you can buy a lot of tickets for different shows. And I don't know for you, but I'm probably a little bit too much addicted to my smartphone. So most of the time when I have time to kill, like I'm walking to some place, I'm in the public transit, I'm going to look at website. And right now I want to buy, oh my God, I'm recording this. I want to buy tickets for Justin Bieber. So I'm on my smartphone. I'm looking for the show. And I got that web page. And I said, hey, I sent an email to Rami because I know he really loves Justin Bieber too. And I said, Rami, we need to go out like hats, like two real men with beard, go to Justin Bieber show. And I sent him that link. But Rami is at work, not working because he looked at my email, opened this in the browser, and this is what he sees. So this is perfect on a smartphone. Like, not a lot of information, good enough, great experience. But I sent the link that I had to Rami. Rami opened this in the browser. This is what he got. Not the best use of the space. And worse, like he probably saw, Rami's laughing like, you said that I like Justin Bieber. Worse than that, probably Rami is quite brilliant guy. So you're going to say, hey, I know tech. Most of the time, just remove the M. And that's going to be good. I'm going to access the full website. Now, because the internet is like, fluffy, you should believe me. And what's going to happen is that doesn't work for that website. That used to work for The Verge before they went responsive. You were just removing the M, and you got like the full experience. So at least it's not that bad. But it's still one step like that I need to do to make it happen. But with that website, it's just that I'm going to have a 404. Like the web page does not exist. So I have to deal with that page. And I'm probably missing a lot of information that I want because I have space. So it's not a great experience. And funny enough, there's that thing called responsive web design that exists for a long time, a couple of years. But there's still a lot of people that either don't know about it or don't understand or don't use it or don't want to use it. And there is a technique to just give a great experience, but we still have, in 2015, really bad experience with websites, and we're making websites since forever, but now we have technology to make it easier. So now I have the vague impression that nobody's listening to me and everybody's reading what's on the screen. It's okay. So basically, it's really small, but because the quality is really not that good. For those of you that know it, it's KCD. It's just like what do you call this? A Venn diagram, or Venn diagram, something. It's like what you can find on a university website, what the developer, like the university, think that people want to get as information. And in the middle, the only thing that goes across the two circles is just the name of the university. I don't know for you, when you go on a university website, there's like pictures of a lot of things. There's a lot of information, but what I want to know is like which courses I can take, how it's working, what is the cost, when it's happening, and that always makes me laugh alone in the dark in my room, laughing. But it's always like, this is the same kind of thing when I go on a website and I have like either a mobile version, and I'm like, yeah, but like you're removing information that I want. You think that I want something else, but I don't think you took the time to really think about, hey, what my users really want. And you need to understand that it's not because I'm on a smartphone, on a smaller screen, that it's basically that I'm walking through your venue, that I'm on my couch at home. I'm just too lazy to walk like 3 steps away to reach my computer because I have my smartphone with me. But I still want a full or a great experience. So there is that thing called responsive web design. It's there for a couple of years. It's a Marco that coined the term 5 years ago-ish, a little more than 5 years ago. And I say, what about if we stop trying to target specifically different devices and trying to get one experience to user, but on many devices, really trying to think about the user's experience. So instead of like, what do we think that we should do, which device we should target? No, let's just give great experience on most of the devices out there. Let's think about the different devices' capabilities instead of configuration. Like, instead of trying to detect the version of my, okay, do this guy use a iPhone 5, or do you use a Microsoft phone, or do you use an Android, and which kind of device? So, no, let's just, okay, what's the size of the viewport, and what can I do with that size? What information can I display in that size? And by doing this, you're going to help your website or web application to be future-proof, because you're not going to target specific devices. You may be able to do so, and you will probably do so, but you will still give an okay, at least, experience on other devices. So no matter if tomorrow, my website is like, right now, the design is really not good. But at the end of the day, no matter the devices, like I didn't touch the CSS for years, probably going to see why, but no matter the new devices out there, I still give you an okay experience, because I thought about the viewport instead of thinking about different devices. So, still my little kitty friend here. I'm kind of like a fan and not a fan of Starbucks. I really like their sugar type of coffee, but when I want a real coffee, I just go elsewhere. But still, Starbucks get a great experience. You go on a website, all the information is there. I have like some promotion about like those beautiful mugs that create a storm on social media. Like, it's kind of sad, but yeah. So we're at that time of the year with social media. And so I have all the information. And if I change the viewport, you're going to see that either they resize some images, they change how they display the information. But what is really interesting with that website is that I still get all the information I need. They didn't change the information I have. They changed the way they display the information. They changed the order. They think that, okay, maybe, and it's not intrusive. Maybe this guy is walking and is looking for a Starbucks because he's going to die if he's not going to have a coffee really soon. So I have that little guy here where I can say, okay, no, I'm going to find my Starbucks. But I know, no, I'm on my smartphone, on my couch, or not working at work, and I just want to order like great coffee because this is a gift I'm going to give to someone during Christmas time. So I still have access to all the information, but they also reorder. In most of the website, you're going to have the menu on top, which makes sense. It's just easier. So what it did for the mobile version, they just moved the stuff on the back, on the bottom. So yes, I still have the menu, but maybe, yeah, this is nutrition fact is maybe not the most important thing I want. So they gave me a great experience. But it's not just also about like commercial application. BBC, who used to be one of my anti-pattern example, they did a great job, I don't know when, recently, I just discovered this morning, but this is kind of a website with a lot of information. This is information website, so use website. So there is a lot of things, but they really did a great job because I still have, like, let's say that I'm on a tablet. Still great. I still have like those huge images that are like amazing that give me the interest to read that article. If I continue to make it smaller, there is still like the biggest headline is there, but I still have access to everything to remove images. They probably thought about the fact that, hey, you're on the slowest connection, or probably in Canada and got screwed by you pay too much for your data. So we're gonna remove some images, and that's good. So even for more, like I would say, important website or more information-driven website, there's a lot of things to do. And even when it's like more creative type of website, like this one, anyone doing like epilepsy or something like this? No, it's a serious question for first time, because this thing is like killing me, and I'm not even like an epilepsy. So you basically play the album. It's crazy, huh? I think we're going to look at this for the next 30 minutes. People that don't throw up win a t-shirt. Okay, so Rani is like, why did I ask Fred to speak? So, okay, I'm going to stop. That's really killing me. I don't know why. But even for that website, this still gave me a great experience. I still have that to listen to music. That had nothing to my experience, but it's still nice. And I can still do this on a smartphone. I'm going to have the play, will be on top, and great experience. So any type of website, you can have benefits of really thinking about different devices. So those are some examples, but you know more examples than I know. You go on the web, you're a user before being a developer, before being a designer, whatever what you do your life, you're still a user first. So you see those websites where you have like really, really bad experience, but you see also those websites where it's like, yeah, nice thing. And the fact that I like with responsive web design is that you don't, it's not about, as I said, detecting specific devices. It's not about creating multiple experience. It's about creating one experience that I'm going to adapt on different view size. So basically, the secret sauce of responsive web design, you're going to need a flexible grid-based layout. I'm going to come back on those later. You're going to need flexible images and media. And the third one, which is the magical unicorn of like the secret sauce, is really media queries. Sean is like, yeah, Fred, you said unicorn? You only need $10. So the first thing is flexible grid-based layout. Non-responsive sites are no fun. Like I shown you, I don't have to sell this to you. It's like, it's a really bad experience. Fixed with websites, they may make sense at some point for some line of business website or web application. You may not want your website to be accessible by all devices, but most of the websites or web application we're making today, we want them to be accessible on the most devices out there, even for the people or the devices that are not like super popular. There's still users out there that you may miss. There's still potential customers that you may lose. And you're not thinking about other platform. I could say, yeah, most of my users, they're using Windows or OS X. I don't really care about Linux. Well, it's not a good example because you're all developer. You may care about Linux, but let's talk to marketing people and they say, no, we don't care. Like people using Safari is a small number of jobs. We want to target Chrome and Firefox, and we don't care about Edge. And like, no, you need to care about those other devices or other browsers. So the first thing to do from your previous way of doing things to the new one is really to go from M's. So this is the small formula we're going to use for the next 30 minutes. Can someone explain me this? I put that image, I stole that image somewhere. I just don't have any idea what it is, seriously. So the algorithm is way simpler than that. We're going to put the target. We're going to divide by the context, and that's going to give us the new result. So now it's kind of like, it doesn't seem simple, but you still don't understand what I'm going through. So Oh, and you can use REM also. It's just gonna like the target's gonna be the root. Actually, I wrote the context, but yeah, that's gonna be the target. So if I get that example on the top, I have that H1 with a link. So my H1 is like the black box. It's responsive web design. This is the title of my article. But I have like read more. It's a link. Right now, my H1 is 24 pixels. This one is a little more tricky because my target is 24 pixels. This is the size that I want my H1 to be displayed in the browser. Any browser, I want it to be 24 pixels. The context in that case is going to be 16 pixels because in my browser, the browser I use, the default size of H1 is 16. Because I don't have any context in that case, the H1 is really inside the HTML page. So I'm going to divide 24 by 16. That's going to give me a result of 1.5. So my new font size, instead of being 24 pixels, is going to be 1.5 EM. That means that every time I'm going to try to resize or like display my website on a smaller or bigger device, my H1 would be 1.5 the size of the default H1 that would be displayed in the browser. Now it's like, ooh, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Fred. I'm not sure either, so it's okay. If we take the second example, it's a little bit easier to understand. So my link is inside my H1. So the font size that I wanted before thinking about responsive web design was like, hey, 11 pixels seems great, big enough, people can click on it. So this is my target. Now my context is a little more interesting. My context is the H1. My link is inside the H1. My box, my context is H1. Did I say my context is H1? So it's 24 pixels. In that case, I'm going to do 11 divided by 24. That's going to give me 0.4583333333333 and a couple of 3. So what I'm going to do in my code, I'm going to say H1A font size equal French, 0.458, and there's no plus. I cannot put plus. It's just because I didn't have enough space on my slide. But basically, there's two things I can do right now. I can just like round the number myself and put 0.458, and I'm good to go. That's gonna give me kind of the size that I want, but maybe you're not that picky. Or you can just took the calculation you did and just put like 0.4583333, and no matter the numbers after, the browser will do the job for you. The browser will round it for you, and you're gonna have a more precise display or size of your elements. So don't feel the need to round the number yourself. The browser doesn't really care. Like, you won't have an overhead in your process, in your page loading, because you put a lot of 3 after the number. So if we go to maybe a little more complex or usual type of website, you see a lot of those websites. You have the HTML page, you have the content, the blog, and there's like 2 columns. The main column with probably the articles, and the other that is probably the sidebar with like menu or comments or whatever makes sense for you. So we have that page. So this is my usual page that I did for like small website. All the width. Okay, I have the page, the blog, 900 pixels. I have the main that is inside the blog, and the other that is also inside the blog. So I have 2 columns inside of my blog. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the context divided by target. So I'm going to do, okay, the page. This one is a little bit tricky also. I was on a screen where the resolution was 2024. So this is my context right now, because I divide my entire page, or the size of my entire page by the screen size. The blog, I'm going to do the same thing, but now the blog is inside the page, so I'm going to do 900 divided by 960. The main, if you understand, if you follow the flow, 566 pixels by 900, because the main is inside the blog, and I'm going to do the same thing with other. So it's kind of a lot of work. But at the end of the day, that's going to give me those percentage for the size. So now I'm looking, because those are HTML elements. It's not about the font. It's more about the size. I'm going to get percentages. The third one, the blog, the main, again, or the fourth one, there is no plus. It's just for the slides. Again, you round the number yourself, or just put like the full list of number after the dot. The trick here is that it's hard to remember in a month where did I took the 93.75% for the blog element. So what I usually do, I put in the comment the context and the target so I can remember what it was. So all those calculations, this seems like, okay, I went from that part to the other part. It seems to be a little bit like, it's quite simple but complex at the same time. It's like, that's going to take me forever to change everything. So in that case, it's because I want a design that's going to be quite like pixel perfect kind of itch before, compared to my previous or my original design. Most of the time, what people do, they just start by using like percentage or EM, and they just create their design right away in responsive without going with pixels. It's just like, oh, that fits well in my website. Let's do this. So you don't have to do all that calculation if you think it's like too complex. But if you want to go from a more, I don't like to say whole way of a fixed grid type of website to something that's going to be a small calculation. But this is only the top of the iceberg. You still have other things to do. And the second one is quite interesting and it's quite important also. You need flexible images and media. So it's a good thing that I have my website that can change side, but think about the BBC website. If I have like all the div and all the part of the website that resides and all the fonts and the text, but I still have my big images, kind of like not a good experience. So the easiest and simple solution, that is not a really good solution, but this is what you can do right now today in all browsers, just to put the max width of all your media to 100%. So basically what's going to happen, is that your image is going to take 100% of the width of their container. Most of the time your image is going to be inside a paragraph, inside a div, inside an article. So basically that's going to work. What's going to happen is that if I have like that 5 megapixels or like 5 megabytes super high resolution, it's not even bigger anymore, I'm so old, like 10 megabytes picture, like great quality, and I display this on the smartphone, I'm going to have a great experience. Like the image is going to be small like this, but I'm going to have like to download 10 megabytes for a picture that I'm going to see in like 10% of the size. So you're going to give a great experience in terms of like visual of the website. You're still going to ask all your users to download the full high resolution image that you have. So there is something, and we're quite there, I hope, really soon. There's the picture element. And the picture element, you're going to understand a little more how it's working with CSS Music queries. So this is basically using CSS Music queries inside of a picture element. So basically what's happening here is that on the first line, I'm going to say, okay, if the minimum width is 40 EM, let's use that image. Oh, if it's not like the minimum width, so if I'm bigger, actually my example is not that good with the name, so don't check the name of the image, but use the smallest one. This one, it's still HD, it's still a great image, but that's going to be smaller. And there is a fallback, which means that if the browser doesn't understand the picture element, it is going to load that image, which is like a tag that all browser knows right now. The issues with picture element right now is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that all browsers will load the image tag first before seeing if there is any media query or if there is any element in the picture. So you're still going to load the fallback first before loading maybe the right picture. So you're still like kind of like double loading images. So it's not perfect yet. And worse is that right now it's working in all browser, but it's not working by default. So most of the picture element that's going to work in a browser like Chrome and Firefox, you need to go like in developer mode, you need to activate a flag, or you need to do like some trick that your customer won't do. So it's really like kind of like development feature right now. I think there is only Edge that, and Rami, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think only Edge respect picture without you or any customer having to do anything. So it's quite interesting. Like for a long time, like Edge is in front with different technology than other browsers. So great element to use. You don't have to be afraid because there is the fallback. But right now, I understand that it's a little more work for something that is not like out there for all browser by default. But I'm pretty sure that's going to happen soon because we are talking about picture element for like I think, 2 years now. So I hope that's going to be default. But like anything with HTML5-ish or like new feature in HTML, you have polyfills, you have libraries to help you. So the great guy who did that picture fill, that helped you. It's a JavaScript library that's going to help you to use the picture element on browser that does not support picture element. In any cases, if you don't want to go too crazy, just use max width 100% of image tag, and you're going to be good to go. We're still going to give a great experience. It's just the amount of data that we're going to load to make it happen. So those two things are really great, but where you can really think about, okay, not just like resizing my stuff, but trying to give great experience or specific experience to different devices is really media queries. So how many of you know and use media queries today? Nice. This is one of, still after all these years, one of my best feature in CSS3. So not too long ago, we used to be able to define screen and print as media type, and it was great because we were able to have like that full color and exciting website to display to our user, but we're able also to have like that CSS equivalent for printing, like you remove all the stuff that doesn't matter when you print, and you don't want to ruin like a full cartridge of like ink. I was just looking for the word. It was not totally easy to answer different like user display. You either had like, you had to do detection of different devices. Oh, is this browser is like Safari on iPhone? Oh, this guy is on Windows? And a lot of JavaScript work, and it was not easy. And most of the time we're like thinking, yes, about like, hey, it was like iPhone and desktop. And that was basically what we're trying to do. And it made sense at that time. But today we have like media queries that give us the opportunity to specify different other type of media, but also screen size and different elements inside of my CSS. So I always saw this as like having if and else inside my CSS. So a really simple example would be that one. So directly inside my CSS file, I'm going to say, okay, if the media type is screen and the maximum width is 600 pixels, change the body font for 80% of the font that it is right now. So my browser is going to load this. And if I resize, or if when I load the page, my maximum width is not over 600 pixels, that CSS is going to be executed by the browser. You can do a little more super LWO funky type of example. You can mix those things. You can say, okay, if the media is the screen, but the minimum width, like it's between 320 pixels and 480 pixels, execute this. If the media is not print, and the maximum width is 600 pixels. So you can go crazy. You can have a lot of, like, I would say, if statements inside your CSS. And by doing this, you're going to be able to give either change your information. If you want, you can remove information, add new information, change the layout of your website. And you are able to do this without having to reload the page all the time. But you can also do some import statement, or just put link your style sheet and have specific CSS file that's going to load depending on those queries. So there's different ways for you to use them. There's different properties also you're going to be able to use. Min width, min height, max height, device width, device height, orientation, aspect, you can read. So you have access to all those media properties. But most of the time, what you will see and what you will use are those 5 guys, or girls. Min width, max width, min height, max height, orientation. Is it landscape? Is it portrait? What is the maximum size of my screen? What is the minimum size of my screen? Those are the properties that you will use the most. So let me show you the Little Pea Bakery. This is a super old example. It's coming from the CSS3 book that's been written probably 3 years ago. It's a great example because it's that simple and because I love pastry. Can I go to something like awkward, like Remy? Oh, the fat people. Oh no, but I'm fat also. Oh no, but I have nothing against fat. No. I can say this. So, sorry, that was like, sorry. This is awkward. So website, not the sexiest website out there, but add everything you need on a website. There is a logo, there is a menu, there is like, oh my god, picture of food, and what time is the lunch? Oh, okay, picture of food. You have like email newsletters, search box, and everything I want on a website. So if I go, let's just go there. If I go Berserk and I say, okay, let's go on a tablet. Look at the website. Look at the website. Look at the screen. Look at oh, come on. That was cool. Okay, so you saw and you did not realize because you were all like, what's happening? The menu, and this is mostly the only thing that changed. The menu went from the left to top. So say, okay, now I'm taking too much space with just that little menu to the left that is like in kind of portrait orientation. So they moved the menu to the top. So I'm on a tablet, still have a great experience. Menu is still really accessible. But I'm going to continue, and I'm going to go like on probably a phablet at some point. And okay, like a phablet or a smartphone. I hate that word, phablet. So let's say write directly to a smartphone. And you're going to see that, hey, images change. I still have all my information. And you know it right now, like newsletter is still there. Everything is there. So it's really a great example. So if I go see in the code, I go to more tools, developer tools, and I try to let's remove this. So I know it's like super small for now. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's not. Let me do this. So this is not a super good example for the code itself. Don't look at all the code because they're doing the really things specific about the browser, which you should not do. Please don't do this. And also, worse than worse, they put the CSS right inside the HTML, but it was like for a demo, it's one file. It's just easier like this. But if I scroll and I go to after the basic stuff, I go, oh, it's a queries. So it started to say, okay, what she did, she basically say, okay, I'm going to give like an okay experience on different type of devices, but I may care a little more about like iPhone and iPad and like usual resolution on laptop because this is probably where my customers are. And so it's not about like not thinking about the other devices, but she put a little more effort to think about those devices. So if I think about that one, I'm on probably on a laptop, and this is what you saw at the beginning. But if I scroll down, I say, okay, maximum width 760 pixels. Oh, maybe I'm on a tablet. So okay, let's move the navigation on a hub on a corner. She also used ender prefix, so that's still working, still detected by browser, but most of the CSS elements, you should not have to use them right now. So basically, screen, max width, 550 pixels, and you see that she only have to put new stuff or element that she want to change inside the CSS. So the browser will know that everything is there, but it will execute that part of the code only when you're going to satisfy the if statements, the media queries inside it. So, and what is great is that once it's loaded, you don't have to reload the website. The browser don't have to try to load the information. Also, it's there. So if I go offline right now and I resize the browser, that's still going to work. So everything is low, the CSS is low, which is good and not good because I'm loading a lot of CSS that the browser may not use. So after this, there's still some browser. Maybe you have to support whole browser. There is, again, some framework or shim that you want to use. Polyfill, so basically Modernizer, Rami told you if you're not using it to do feature detection instead of browser detection, please use Modernizer. It's going to tell you if media queries is possible or no. There is no kind of fallback when it comes to media queries, so you need to use a polyfill. There is a lot of those available out there. If you go on Modernizer, on their GitHub page, there is a ton of resources about different feature of HTML that you would like to get polyfill for, and there is a lot for media queries. So after this, it's your responsibility to be creative. So Luke Dabrowski, I never know how to say, Luke W. Really great when it comes to multi-device layout patterns for mobile first. He presents you a different ways to put the layout. So you may want to go from 2 columns to 1. You may want to maybe remove some information. But at the end of the day, you need to find what makes sense for you, but also for your customers. So you can do whatever makes sense for you. There's that website, Media Query. So mediaquery.es. You put the dot between the I and the E. When you go there, there's a lot of examples. So if you're not quite sure what to do with your website, there is a lot of examples. And trust me, if you go there after the conference, not after my talk, you go after the conference, you're gonna like play a little bit too much with that website. There's also, I know I have 5 minutes, but I'm gonna be that speaker that can do this. There is Brad Frost that did, and I don't know if that's going to work, so let me load this and we'll see after. There's some resources. Bootstrap, still one of the best framework out there. If you don't want to manage everything that I just told you with Bootstrap, that's going to be a lot easier. And it's made by Twitter, so there's a lot of chances that Bootstrap will be maintained for a while. And it's the most used out there. There's a lot of other framework that can help you to do responsive website, but Bootstrap is kind of the most popular. For those of you that know a book apart, there's a lot of great book, small book, 100 to 200 pages per book, quite easy to read. There's a good book from the guy itself, it's in Marco. Responsive web design, my talk is basically is based on that book. So if you read the book, you're gonna say, hey, I'm like reading Fred's presentation, but it's the other way around. I just stole stuff from it. There's a lot of links out there. I'm gonna put my presentation online. So my last word for you is be responsible when you create a website and be responsive. Well, I really thought it was funny when I realized that that's going to be the last time I'm going to put that joke. So for last thing, responsive web design is quite amazing, but maybe it's not the right way for you to make it happen. At the end of the day, I just want you to give a great experience to your user because I may be one of those and I'm just selfish. I want a great experience, but still, give a great experience to people. Do you start with mobile first? This is another like philosophy of like, okay, should I start to design my website by thinking about mobile first, and after I got more space, I can add more meat to my website and more like exciting stuff. Should I go adaptive web design instead? Which means that I'm gonna like my server is gonna basically do kind of like device detection and it's gonna push different version of my website. It's another technique, not a huge fan of this one, but it can be useful in different other way. Do you need visual component or visual or really specific experience on all devices? As I told you before, in the Little P Bakery, she did an experience for like iPhone, iPad, and usual resolution for laptop. Doesn't mean that you cannot see the website on other devices. It's still adapted to different devices. But she didn't took too much time to give experience to different devices, because if you do this, you're still trying to target every device, which is quite impossible. So maybe you're going to be sure that the experience is going to be well with specific devices, but may not do this for all devices. And again, I told you at the beginning, don't dismiss mobile as I'm walking, I'm going through somewhere. That can be about I'm just bored, I need to kill time. That can be I need to be productive when I'm not at the office. I need to like change document and send this to my boss. Or I'm just on my couch and being lazy and using my smartphone to check different stuff from the TV show that I'm watching. So my name is Fred. Feel free to send me an email. Same thing as Remy. If you have any question, technical, non-technical marketing stuff, I'm doing a lot of marketing stuff for evangelism or personal branding. Let me know. Send me an email. Ping me. I'm going to be there in the break. Ping me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Go on Immuno.io. Test it. It's free. My presentation, the recording, the slides, and probably a blog post that's going to like tie everything together is going to be on outofcomfortzone.net, my personal blog.